There was a man, not just any man, a man with no friends, no one to share meals with, no calls on his birthday, no laughter echoing in the room, just silence and the sound of his own breath. You may think he was broken, you may think he was lonely, but life was forging something powerful. You see, when you walk alone, every step becomes your own. No one distracts you from your purpose. No one weakens your focus, no peer pressure, no false smiles, just truth and pain. And pain, Sadhguru says, is a powerful teacher. When embraced, pain becomes transformation. When avoided, it becomes suffering. This man sat with his pain. He didn't drown it in parties. He didn't escape into fake friendships. He stared into the emptiness, and the emptiness stared back. But in that moment, a seed was planted, a seed of greatness. For every legend begins in isolation, in the silent rooms where no one claps. A man with no friends has only one choice: to become his own strength. He builds discipline because no one else will push him. He grows purpose because no one else will believe in him. He sharpens focus because no one else listens to his dreams. Every moment becomes a test, and slowly, quietly, he stops waiting. He starts creating. People mocked his solitude. They said he was weird. They whispered behind his back. But he didn't flinch, because pain had already scarred him deeper. And that's the thing. A man with no friends builds armor no one sees, builds fire no one can extinguish. He becomes unstoppable. Sadhguru once said, "Don't be afraid of being alone. Be afraid of being surrounded by noise that kills your inner voice." This man heard his inner voice, loud and clear. It told him, "You are enough. You are the storm. You don't need a crowd to be legendary." And so he rose. From the shadows, he started to learn. Books became his best friends. Silence became his mentor. Pain became his coach. Failure became his training ground. Each rejection fueled his passion. Each laugh behind his back made him grind harder. Each lonely night built a tougher mind, until one day, the world looked at him and saw greatness. But they didn't see the nights he cried. They didn't see the silence he endured. They didn't know the price he paid. He paid in loneliness. He paid in silence. He paid in pain. But he received wisdom. He received power. The man who had no friends became the man others followed. Why? Because he didn't need them. And that made him magnetic. The world follows strength, and strength is born in struggle. Not in comfort, not in the crowd, but in isolation. So if you're alone now, don't break, don't beg for company, build yourself, grow. The absence of friends is not a curse, it's a calling, a chance to meet your highest self. You're not unloved, you're unshaped. Life is shaping you. Sadhguru says, your aloneness is not emptiness. It is fullness waiting to be realized. Sit with yourself. Breathe through the pain. Don't distract yourself with noise. Make your solitude your temple. Make your pain your ritual. Sacrifice the need for approval and emerge like fire from ash. For that's how legends are built. The world needs warriors, not people pleasers. The world needs visionaries, not echo chambers. And every visionary was once alone, criticized, mocked, ignored. But they endured. Like the man with no friends, he endured, not for applause, but for purpose. And now when they speak his name, they speak it with awe. They forgot they once laughed. They forgot they once walked away. But he remembers, and he smiles, not with bitterness, but with wisdom. He knows the truth. Being alone was his blessing. Pain was his path, and silence was his sword. He carved his life with it. He mastered it, and now he walks in strength, alone but never lonely. Sadhguru reminds us, when you don't cling, you are free. That man is free, free from needing validation, free from false attachments, free to be himself. And you can be too, if you dare to walk alone, if you dare to face your pain, if you dare to become the legend no one believed in. This world needs you, not a copy, not a follower, but you. And maybe no one claps now, maybe no one calls, Maybe they all left. Let them go. Let them doubt. You don't need them. You need the fire within. You need clarity. You need patience. You need grit. And when you have those, friends or no friends, you win. You rise. You lead. You inspire. Not because you had support, but because you built yourself. Alone. In the dark. Through the tears. Through the pain. Through the silence. You became unstoppable because you became real. Not shaped by others, but shaped by truth. So next time you feel alone, smile. You're in training. The world might not see it yet, but your spirit is preparing. He walked through the noise, untouched. He sat in crowds, unheard. They called him quiet, but inside a storm was brewing. Not one of anger, one of purpose, one of clarity. Because being left out gave him insight. Being unseen made him observe. In observing, he understood people. He saw through their masks, through their shallow smiles, through the laughter that covered fear. He didn't envy them anymore. He felt compassion for those chasing attention, for those afraid of silence, because he had made peace with it. Silence was his sanctuary, and that made him powerful. Sadhguru teaches, only those who walk alone reach the highest peaks, because the climb is steep, the air is thin, and crowds don't climb mountains. Individuals do. This man, he was climbing, one silent step at a time. No selfies, no applause, just his breath, his will, his resilience. And he kept going, even when his legs trembled, even when his mind doubted, even when the nights were long, because purpose is louder than pain. And he had found his purpose, inside the very pain that others ran from. Friends may come and go, but inner strength, that stays forever. He wasn't bitter, he was better. Forged in silence, tempered by tears, hardened by solitude, and purified by purpose. This was no ordinary man. He didn't crave to fit in. He chose to stand out. He didn't beg for validation. He earned self-respect. And when you respect yourself, you attract the world. Not because you chase it, but because you rise above it. This man was now a beacon. Others saw his fire. They didn't know its source, but they felt its warmth. They gathered around it, seeking guidance, seeking strength. The same man once ignored was now being followed, not because he asked, but because he became. Sadhguru reminds us again, when you become light, the world doesn't ignore you. This man lit himself. No one gave him matches. No one offered fire. He struck stone against stone, cut his hands, bled in the dark. But the spark came, and with it, the fire. He didn't chase women to feel whole. He didn't chase friends to feel loved. He became complete within. And then, life started offering more. Better opportunities, better people, better results, because he no longer begged. He attracted, through strength. Do not cry for being alone. Celebrate it, use it. Most waste solitude, but he mastered it. Solitude gave him space to think, to feel, to dream, to act. Friends might have distracted him, laughter might have made him lazy, but pain kept him awake, and that's why he rose faster. The world watches now. They call him lucky. But where were they when he was crying? Where were they when he was doubting? Where were they when he was silent? They were laughing, but he didn't stop. He didn't shrink. He didn't collapse. He evolved. And you can too, if you stop chasing noise, if you sit with yourself, if you choose truth, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. He didn't numb the pain. He studied it. He asked, why am I hurting? And pain answered, because you're not being who you are. So he changed, not for approval, for peace, not for attention, for alignment. And with each day, he became unstoppable. Not because of followers, but because of focus. Not because of noise, but because of stillness. This world rewards two types of people, the loudest or the most consistent. He chose consistency, and that changed everything. His life is now a lesson for those ready to walk alone, for those ready to embrace pain, for those willing to shed their weakness. He became the blueprint, the map, the guide, not through words, through life. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about being unstoppable, not hating people, but not needing them to become whole. That's power, and power is silent. Pain built his temple. Silence wrote his scripture. Solitude carved his throne. And now he reigns, quietly, calmly, steadily. The world bows now, but he doesn't forget. The boy with no one, the man with no calls, the soul with no applause. That version is still inside him, reminding him to stay grounded, reminding him to stay hungry, reminding him this pain built a legend, and so can yours. Stop escaping, start embracing. Don't look around, look within. Sit in the fire, let it transform you. Because one day the same world that ignored you will tell your story. The same ones who laughed will quote your words. The ones who left will wonder how you did it, and you'll smile. Because you know the pain was the path. So walk it fearlessly, with dignity, with vision, with power, with purpose. Be like that man, a man with no friends, but a mission in his soul, a legend in silence, rising.